Mr. Speaker.
Foss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance and reads, what reports has he received showing signs that the economy is rebalancing towards exports and investment and away from borrowing, consumption and property speculation?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, this rebalancing of the economy is one of the main goals of the Budget 2010. There are some encouraging statistics, but we need to keep in mind that any rebalancing of the New Zealand economy is a long-term goal, not necessarily able to be achieved easily in the short term. Last week's Statistics New Zealand reported that New Zealand posted an annual trade surplus of $161 million in the year to April, the first trade surplus recorded since July 2002. The trade surplus for the month of April alone was $656 million, or 16.5% of the value of New Zealand's exports. This compares with an average April trade deficit of 0.6% of exports for the previous 10 years. However, as I said, 1 month's or even 1 year's figures won't deal with the long-run problem of the imbalance of the New Zealand economy.
Supplementary. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister of Finance. Why is it important that the economic recovery is built around exporting and investment rather than consumption, debt and excessive government spending?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's very important because that's how we'll undo the damage done by the previous government with 10 years of mismanagement and a squandered decade where they could have put...
Order. Point of order. The Honourable Darren Hughes.
Mr. Speaker, you've given many rulings on these sorts of things. It's a question that comes from the government itself, so therefore the Minister must have had notice of it. It's inexplicable that he'd start off with his answer so far being entirely about the previous government. We've had an election, they're in charge now, they should answer on their policies.
Order. There will be silence while I consider this point of order. The dilemma I have, I say, the member, is that he was asked, the Minister was asked, why is it important that this claimed rebalancing of the economy, why is that important? And it's difficult for me to rule out the Minister in answering that, referring to what's gone on, how he sees things that have gone on in the New Zealand economy. What he mustn't do is make any allegations about what the current Labour Party's policy might be and then criticise that. He mustn't do that, but I think he's within his rights to comment as he sees them on the recent economic situation in New Zealand. The point of order, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Speaker, further to your point of order and in view of Speaker's rulings 1457, which holds that the government can answer only for its own intentions and has no responsibility for the opposition, would your ruling still hold true if the matters to which the Minister referred were wrong in fact, as well as not being within his own purview?
Well, I appreciate the member is raising a genuine point. If the opposition believes anything the Minister says is wrong, they can question him on the answer he gives. And they can. That's the idea of supplementary questions, to test the accuracy, the validity of a minister's answers. So where the minister is going to, if it appears he might, comment on what's happened in the past, that gives opposition members free opportunity to question him on anything he says in that answer. The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, it's important to rebalance the economy because of the damage done by the mismanagement of the previous government, who left an economy where the tradable sector had shrunk by 15% and the non-tradable sector had grown by 10%. Jobs that are based on borrowing, imports, housing speculation and poor management of government finances are not sustainable, as many New Zealanders have found out. We want to create sustainable jobs and higher family incomes.
Point of order, the Honourable David Cunliffe.
Point of order, and in reference to the previous point of order, sir, the matter does get somewhat more complicated. If one listens to that answer, one will hear that it is not simply a recitation of matters the Minister believes are important, but he's giving his own view or his own spin on what he thinks of those issues, sir. And in view of the Speaker's rulings, which says that he has only responsibility for the government and not the opposition, sir, it's not possible for opposition members to question a minister about opposition affairs. We can only question him, sir, about government responsibilities, sir, and that means that we cannot ask him, in logic, a supplementary question about matters for which he's not responsible.
Order. The honourable member needs to be aware, of course, that the opposition is no longer government. I mean, the minister was commenting on the economic environment that he inherited as minister. Now, that is no longer the property of the current opposition. They were government then. And he did not make any comment on the opposition's current policies. I listened carefully. He made no comment on the opposition's current policies, but I believe the minister is responsible for dealing with the economic situation that the government inherited as he, on the government's behalf, sees it. Now, if he gave some facts, what he claimed to be facts in his answer, I heard some information he gave about the tradable versus non-tradable sectors of the economy. If he's wrong, then members of the opposition can question him on the accuracy of that answer. That's what supplementaries are for, to test the minister's answer. But I listened carefully. He made no comment about the opposition's current policies, but the activities of the previous government, which the minister has had to confront as the minister in this government, it is legitimate, I believe, for the minister to make comment on those, but he can be tested for the accuracy of what he says. Point of order, the Honourable Darren Hughes.
I think this is important to get some clarity for the opposition on. So are you ruling, sir, that we can use our supplementary questions to ask government ministers in this government about the effective policies of the previous government for which they were not members or had responsibility?
It's very simple. Where the minister, in his answer, covers issues that related to the previous government, opposition members are perfectly at liberty to question the minister about any aspect of his answer, in this case his answer. That is absolutely within standing orders. That's the idea of supplementary questions, is to test the answer that a minister's given, because often opposition members will not be happy necessarily with answers they're given, and the idea of having supplementary questions available to members is they can, if they believe a minister has said something incorrect in an answer, everything the minister includes in his answer or her answer is available for further questioning, even if it is matters relating to the previous administration. Supplementary, Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Supplementary to the Minister of Finance. What steps were taken in Budget 2010 to help the economy grow faster and ensure that more of the growth comes from all the right places?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, the budget took several measures to boost growth in the productive parts of the economy. They included reforming the tax system to put the right incentives into the economy and help keep skilled Kiwis in New Zealand, investing in New Zealand's future through a significant boost in science and innovation and infrastructure, continuing to get debt and deficits under control, and investing record sums in priority frontline public services.
The Honourable David Cunliffe.
Mr Speaker.
Point of order, the Honourable Rodney Hyde.
This isn't about the sound system, Mr Speaker. This is about the constant heckling from the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, and Trevor Mallard, who just set up a whale across the House. Now, you're closer to the Minister giving the answer, so you can probably hear, but I can assure you that it was a struggle to hear the answer here, and I believe that all members of Parliament deserve to hear the answer and not to be subject to just a constant stream of barracking across the front benches.
Order. I'll hear the Honourable Darren Hughes.
Mr Speaker, the answer that the government minister makes in his point of order is in the hands of the government. If ministers give answers which attack a political party and are provocative, then of course that's just natural. There's going to be a response from opposition members. If the minister was able to get up, explain his own policies and give succinct answers based on what he's doing right now, not what happened 10, 20, 30 years ago, then of course there'd be a much quieter reception. We're interested in his policies.
Order. I'm not going to take more time in the House on this matter. I must say that the Honourable Rodney Hyde's point of order is a fair point of order. It was very difficult to hear because of the level of interjection. And I would say to the Honourable Darren Hughes that, you know, I accept that the opposition's not happy with an answer given. I absolutely accept that. No question about that. But to counter that by way of just excessive interjection is not the best way to counter that. The best way is to attack the minister with sharp questions that test if he's misled that. Well, when I say misled, he shouldn't do that. If he's misrepresented in the member's view, if he's misrepresented the achievements of the previous government, then question him in a way that shows that he's misrepresenting the achievements of the previous government rather than just interject on the matter. And I'm sure the Honourable David Cunliffe will be doing that. Honourable David Cunliffe.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. To the Minister. In view of the zero net debt, the